everyone. I felt like making a video really quick. I'm here with Butter. We're on our way out. We're on our way literally following the intuitive calling that I've had for years. And I'm starting that journey right now. It's amazing. It's been a very personal, inward kind of time. I'm gonna go get cozy. Let me take your leash off. Okay, now you can free roam. She likes to just have her little rein and sit on the seat. She's a good traveler. I've traveled with her many times. And she did not start as a kitten, contrary to what a lot of people assume. She's just, are you just hanging out? Yeah. You have a litter box. Anyway, the message that I want to essentially share right now is one of encouragement and validation for people who are leaving with grief in their hearts. This video is about leaving with grief in your heart. I am leaving with a lot of grief in my heart. I have been open about this, the reason being because I want to normalize and, bring light to certain experiences that I don't see talked about a lot, but I'm pretty much borderline estranged from my whole family. I was not born into a family that emotionally supported me all the time. Like, there were moments, and they have divine qualities, and there was goodness, but there was also abuse and emotional neglect and gaslighting, manipulation, narcissism, and ignorance, turning a blind eye to my suffering because of all of that. And I have just never felt a genuine sense of belonging or warmth or kinship with my blood family. Again, there's been moments, but it is not the theme of my, genetic origins. And when I left today, I don't want to tell the whole story, but I'm just going to say I felt terrible. I felt terrible. And the same pain in my heart that was put there by people who mistreated me was kind of raging and creating a wall between me and the outside, let's just say, to protect me from the same offenses that I've basically endured my entire life. And I just feel grief in my heart because the people who I think are supposed to care the most, support the most, encourage the most, and cheer on the most, ruined that experience of getting in my car and leaving for me. And it's honestly devastating, there is a part of me that is dying, and the part of me that's dying is the part that hopes for, I just want to see, she knows how to be chill on the road. That's how she kind of hangs out. But yeah, there's a part of me that was hoping, just wishing, I just wish I could be sent off by family who shows me that they love me and show up for me the way that I need and take accountability for the things that they've done that damaged me and actually change. But I didn't get that, not from my family. So I'm sitting in that grief. I'm kind of feeling that grief, and I just wanted to share it because it's real. It is so real. And I want other people to know that somebody is giving a voice and compassion and love and light to their story, because I know I'm not the only person who's going through this exact thing. And that's something I say in most of my videos. So I really I want to share my story, and I want to be a friend to who needs it just by sharing this. And I also just really want to hug. And I know that there are people who are just waiting with open arms to receive me, and I'm so excited for that. That's kind of a massive reason or a massive thing of what I'm like moving towards. And I know that the grief and the emptiness that I feel is just a consequence of the fact that I've been in a season of isolation for literally 5 months. I think this is the longest time in my life where I've been in like a waiting period, kind of, that I can remember. Because I'm literally moving towards actual prophetic dreams that I have had, I want to say between 7 and 9 years ago. I had dreams of landscapes that I then saw in videos, and even on road trips in the past. I would drive past a place and recognize specific details about the landscape. For example, when I lived in the Hudson Valley in New York, before I went there, I would have constant dreams of these lush emerald green hills with these like fiery orange lilies blooming across the hillside, and these like wrought iron, I don't know if wrought iron is the word, but these iron like white painted like garden chairs and tables, and just that motif in that dream was where I lived. And I moved to New York, to the Hudson Valley in winter of 2022, and then that summer I saw orange lilies everywhere, and I was like, holy shit. And that dream image that I described with the orange lilies and the white garden chairs and the hillside and the lush green and the like heavy rain clouds hanging in the background and the sun just making everything burst with life and vivid color. When I dreamt that dream, I was working with an African dream seed pod that I found on the beach that I was called to pray with it, put it under my pillow, sleep with it, work with it with dreams and communicating between my conscious and unconscious, and making a bridge so that I could experience a connection with my intuition and God, and more cohesion in my life. And months after I started working with the seed pod, I found out what it actually was, that it's used for dream work, which was amazing. And then I remember when I had that dream with the orange lilies and the white garden chair and whatever, sorry, I just gotta get over here. It's like rush hour right now. Before I actually woke up, I asked like my conscience, like, where is this? And I heard this is upstate New York. And I would do that. When I would pray to my seed pod, I would set my intentions and just kind of drop into a state of like prayer. And I would be seamlessly put into my dreams. And I would, because I understand that dreams are kind of, they are subconscious theaters. And when you learn how to lucidly work with the theater of your psyche, you can meet the cast and intimately get to know the props and the setting and ask everything questions and get to know your internal world, more fully. And it just creates a sense of empowerment for me, and affirmation, because as someone who was a victim of emotional manipulation, and I literally grew up with that as my like nervous system blueprint, like, to doubt myself because I was always made wrong. For every feeling, every thought, just I was wrong. I was the scapegoat. So learning to communicate with my subconscious, to see literally the automatic programs that were playing out in my mind, when I made them conscious and understood the roots of them and the reasons behind why they're happening, I got to apply that wisdom to my waking life and make decisions that put me in alignment with my soul and who I want to be and who I consciously am meant to be and how I am meant to feel, because it is my birthright, it is your birthright, it's our birthright to feel peace, love, freedom, harmony, affection, whatever. Like, we are built for this. It's a promise. So, yeah, so that was kind of what I was doing years ago when I was working with these dreams. But even before then, before those dreams happened in maybe 2019 or 2020. Before those dreams, and also at the same time as those dreams, I would have dreams about these desert landscapes, these like otherworldly red rock desert landscapes. And one dream that I had was of Shiprock in New Mexico. And fast forward, when I was on my road trip following my literal prophetic dreams to New York, I saw a YouTube video of places worth visiting in the world, and Shiprock, New Mexico came on during the middle mark of the video. And my mind was blown, and I Googled photos, and it was a spitting image of my dream. This red rock, like volcanic core pillar with these 3 dike ridges coming off of it, and hot orange flat sand ground as far as the eye can see. So, you know, those dreams, I would wake up from them and I would feel so intensely, there's really no way to describe this. It feels like it felt transcendent. It felt like falling in love. It felt like the most pure imprint of like godly love that I have ever felt in this like unique kind of way. It's literally a dream. Whatever, it's like, I don't know exactly who I'm talking to right now in this video, but for me, the feeling of being in those landscapes, in those dreams, and then waking up from them felt like it just made my heart and my soul swell with whimsy and love and like aching yearning, like, oh my God. So, you know, those burned into my psyche, those images and those feelings. And I knew since then that I need to go to these places. I need to visit these places. And after I saw Shiprock in that video, that confirmed this place that I dreamt of that I had never seen or heard of, for the record. I would see more, recently I started watching more travel videos. When I was doing my hyperbaric oxygen therapy, you go in the chamber for like 1.5 to 2 hours, so you pick like long format YouTube videos or, you know, movies or whatever you want to watch. So I picked like videos about like road trips and backpacking trips in landscapes that I was attracted to, and I, you know, would explore on Google Earth and look at some of the areas on the map that I felt drawn to, and then find landscapes that had motifs. And there goes a Utah license plate right in front of me. You know, little omens like this. And I'm in Florida, South Florida, for the record. It's not common that you find a Utah license plate. Just take it as like a little wink, you know, from God. But yeah, I would see more of these motifs with in the videos that I would watch. Specific landmarks, specific colors of water, specific rivers, specific boulders, specific landscapes, specific shapes of rocks jutting out from the earth. Like, all of these things that I dreamt of were coming to me in these videos. And one thing that happens with people who are abused or, you know, grow up in circumstances where they are not met emotionally, mentally, whatever, is that they create very rich inner worlds, and they find sanctuary and communion and connection with their kind of wild feminine, or their wild, you know, interconnected nature, in, you know, trees and birds. And, you know, I just think of Mary Oliver. I have no idea what Mary Oliver's like upbringing was like, but, you know, think of her poetry and her relationship with the forest and these creatures, and the delicacy and tenderness, and just how exquisite her relationship is with these things. Or, you know, I'm just thinking of Jane Goodall. Again, I don't know what her upbringing is like, but I'm just naming these people to give examples of the kind, like the quality of connection that people who grow up isolated, abused, whatever, often create. And I'm an artist as well, you know, so I kind of found peace and solace in my inner world throughout the chaos that was happening outside of me. So circling back to the beginning of this video, I was talking about the grief that I just left my, you know, this house with in my heart, and how like, oh my God, I'm just longing for like someone to, you know, hug me, celebrate me, treat me on a human level like I'm family and loved and everything. But unfortunately, you know, I don't really have those relationships at the moment. But the other day when I was at the park, I genuinely feel like I got little winks from all these animals all around me. And for example, this pair of birds, so I was walking on the same trail that I would walk every single day for, you know, as long as I've been here, as long as I've been able to walk. Because I wasn't able to walk when I first got here because I had my health flare up and I was bedridden for a while, and you know, it was just so intense, man. And I'm leaving that phase right now. I'm literally on my way out. So anyway, when I was walking in the park, there are sea grape trees, and you can use ripe sea grapes to, I don't know why I feel like this license plate is also a nod. It says my way. It literally says my way. I'm going my way, you know? Yeah, little amends. So the sea grape tree, the ripe grapes are used for like wine and jelly and things like this. But I just like had the feeling that the little sea grape tree was waving at me. So I said, hi, sea grape tree. And then this pair of like darkly colored birds just swooped down probably 12 inches away from my face. And I don't think that's ever happened. And if it has, it's like rarely happened, but I can't remember the last time it happened. And then, you know, I kept walking down the path, and I had used the park bathroom, and when I walked out, there was a blue jay flying in this palm tree that was right to my left, and he kind of like fell a little bit, so he just like fluttered to the ground, and he was just on the ground like probably 2.5 feet away from me, and he just kind of stood there for a second, and I felt a spark. I felt an instant of connection. And then he flew away when I walked forward, but we had a connection. We looked at each other. It's like energetically, physically, we acknowledged each other. And I took that as a sweet, warm, almost that familial energy and love that I was missing from my blood family and my upbringing. You know, I was feeling that in nature, different moments all throughout the day. And then I was walking on the trail, and I saw some large, like, ripply splashes in the intercoastal, because one of the sides of the path goes along the intercoastal, and manatees a lot of the time come and go through there. And so, you know, these large ripples, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were manatees because of how slow moving they were and because of the shape and the size of the ripples. So I walked over to try to get a closer look, but I didn't unfortunately see anything. But it was still spectacular, you know, just like, it's a special treat to like be gifted the opportunity to see an uncommon natural phenomenon. And when that happens, for me, it just feels like love. It feels like love, like perfect love. And then after that, I was getting up to go leave the park, and this pale yellow moth was flitting around my face and just like kind of bumped into my like cheek and eye and whatever, and it felt like a kiss, it felt like a hug, it felt like affection. It was just perfect and beautiful. And that was like my send-off. That to me was my confirmation, my final confirmation. It's, you know, it's time to go. And we love you, and we see you, and we have amazing things in store for you. And so these are things that are extremely close to my heart that I haven't really shared or wanted to share, because the reality is that it's just been excruciatingly painful to kind of navigate this change and me entering such a sacred and personal time in my life, a journey in my life, without people to kind of share that energy with or like witness the fullness of it. And it's like, not that I don't have people who love me or even see me in my life, but it's like these people are not as close as a family member or like a best friend or, you know, a partner or whatever. It's like, and I'm still longing for that kind of close, intimate, you know, intimacy and connection, just the feeling of being seen by a person. But I'm proud of myself. And I want to send this message out to you because I want to remind you that if you're in a similar situation and you're holding out for the love that you deserve, the kind of love that maybe you feel from God, or maybe you still believe that exists and is real within your heart, but you don't have a person to share that much with at that level. And it's real. It's real. I don't know how or when or where I'm gonna meet the people or find myself in situations where I'm full again socially, on a social level, where I meet people who are in alignment with my values and who actually meet my needs and who actually reciprocate everything that I can give. I don't know how that's gonna happen or when or whatever, but I'm moving towards it, and I'm just saying that it's okay to go towards this and leave behind what hurts you, even with grief in your heart. As I'm passing the My Way license plate again, it got way ahead of me, and yeah, so I hope this was encouraging, and I love you so much. I'm sending you a lot of love. Leave a comment if you resonate with this, with your stories, your testimonies, whatever. I just want people to know that they're not alone, and I also want to share my story because it means a lot to me, and I'm finally stepping into it. So, I feel like I'm maybe ready for it, and there's a lot of unknown, and I don't know who, I just don't know what's next, and I don't, I am nervous. I do have fears, but they're not keeping me from stepping into what I know, and that's again why I share this, because I want to encourage the right people. May this video be protected and anointed and reach the right people, even if it gets 2 views. May those 2 viewers be the right people who need to hear this, who need to be uplifted, encouraged, and gotten excited for, and who are longing and waiting to meet the people who are a soul match for them. Yeah, I'm just sending you my best. I am nervous to post this, but I'm pretty much nervous to post most of my videos, and I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, life is wild. So if you like this and you want to work with me one-on-one personally, check my description. I have some offerings there. If you don't see anything that looks like it would suit you, you can feel free to send me a message, and we can work something out. We can figure out how I can support you, because I'm here to serve. That's what I want to do. And I also am passionate about training and cultivating intuition, because obviously, as you've seen in this video, if you watch this far, it has carried me to where I'm supposed to be and given me so much, and I want to pay it forward and teach you what I've learned about cultivating my intuition and healing the parts of me that were exploited, emotionally manipulated, abused, gaslit, trained to doubt myself. But when I took back my intuition and I learned how to apply it in kind of a structured, steady way, it gave me so much of my own power back. So that is all. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you next time.